In this video, I'm going to tell you how different parts of the earth have different energies, how the contrast of everywhere you go on this earth, it's all just a play. Everyone around you, but everywhere around you, it's constantly changing. But different parts of the earth, like here in Lebanon, have a different beauty and a different ethereal effect than places like America. Everywhere you are in this world, anywhere you go in this world, has a different filter. So somewhere like Lebanon, there is a lot of land, mountains, ocean available. There are also aspects of the earth that you don't know about that the Middle East has access to. This is why the pyramids were built in Egypt by the survivors of Atlantis, because this land is a holy land. That is why Jesus incarnated here, because this land has access points that somewhere like America or other countries don't. And that doesn't mean the other countries don't have specific beauty or power, but here has a different level of energy available that I'll speak to you about here in this video. There is so much this earth experience has to offer you as a reflection of your reality that's ever changing. The beauty that you will experience in other places will only open your spirit to higher evolution. Traveling is so important because it expands your spirit to other levels and other aspects of yourself that you're connected to open and experience connection into the ethereal realm whilst expanding your physical life on this earth. Did you know that the earth was actually originally supposed to be a vacation planet? But many entities, people, greed, ego have taken over, and there's a whole scheme going on here where there's a war, there's a spiritual war for the purity, for the essence of spirit. A lot of that exists more in places like this because the land is still very connected. That is why places like America or places in the West, they want to come here and do certain things. There's a lot of access points to the earth that exists here to more mysterious levels and dimensions of the earth that you would not experience in those parts of the earth, because these parts of the earth like America are more manufactured compared to somewhere else near here. This is actually not stolen land, so it still retains a certain level of purity and essence that other places do not. The prominence of this, the relevance of this, is that it keeps your spirit in tune with God in different ways than being somewhere in America would. Let me explain further. You see, people in Lebanon, the way they live, it's a bit different. Even if you're not spiritual or self-aware, you know, you still have a different kind of space here. You get to move differently. In America, it's so much more programmed and so much more in a rush. That is on purpose because it keeps you in a survival state. It really also keeps you unconscious. It keeps you wanting to be an earner. And there's so much more here for you to connect to and to open yourself up to within you. But it takes you making that final step within yourself and expanding and letting go of any limitation that you might still hold on to. Because somewhere like this actually will challenge your limitations and make you assert yourself to let go of certain standards or habits that your mind had set from the program of a place like America or anywhere like that. And in Lebanon, it's not the same. Life moves differently here, but there is also a different beauty here that is more pure. Now, I don't want to make this seem like a negative America video. No, I lived the majority of my life there. I am just telling you there are different energies available in different parts of the earth that will reflect into your spirit different levels of your presence of what you would know as your higher self. I also want to talk a bit about in this video the importance of the sea, the ocean. I'll make another video eventually really primarily focused on this. See, look at this incredible land around me. You see that? Your mind is a projection. It's always, that's why they have the phrase an afterthought. Right? So the ocean is actually more connected with a spiritual phrase would be pure beingness, right? And I see this being infinite. I see this being a symbol of the totality of God. This is very important to realize, that the energy here is carrying aspects of the earth that you are here to connect to through breath, through touch, through absorption. You absorb essence by the nature of the universe. And the nature of the universe is very present in the ocean. And you also see these mountains. There is a presence in the mountains because You know, the earth is always changing through thousands, through millions of years, through each calamity, like with Atlantis, with other civilizations you have not heard of at all. A lot of these parts of the earth have been changing, but the Middle East is very original. It is very, the land, the nature is very untouched. That is why there is a poison present here near this country, very near, that wants to destroy a lot. The same way it destroyed what Jesus was doing, but not permanently, only temporarily delayed what he was here to accomplish. And that can be done now through the awakening and ascension of the collective consciousness, through connecting to nature like this. Because the nature of the earth has more power than the buildings or any party you go to, or if you consume density, darkness, if you consume something that was killed, if you consume alcohol. These things were all produced by the same entity that wants to lower the earth, that wants to destroy parts like this of the earth, because it wants to keep you more induced into fear, into a lower stratosphere, and to taint the atmosphere. But I am here delivering you from fear. This is why you have to look to persevere through the environment that is alive around you, that connects as consciousness to you. This is also a recognition and a reflection of your spiritual aspects that are alive in this existence. Drop the labels and look around you. Everything has a power. If you exist somewhere and then you leave and then you go back after some time, you will notice the vibrations have changed within you, but the pixels of the environment have not changed much at all. There's a deep symbolism in this. It has to do with your inner perseverance, transcendence, your evolution, because when you come back to a place that maybe you lived before and you were a bit more mundane or a bit more in density, or you can also just say a bit more how you used to be, and a typical routine, not really thinking outside of the box, or really just even simple in certain ways. But when you're living in an old way and a lower vibration, less ethereal, less empowered, less as a creator, as a manifester, right? Less about manifestation and more about consumption, or more about being lost a bit in activity, right? So what happens is, after a while, you end up finding yourself back in the same environment where you were, a little bit more unconscious, a little bit more dense. And through that time, as you've let go of a lot of programs, you'll notice that this environment doesn't have the same effect it used to. I'm telling you this so that you understand. It is very common, if you leave somewhere and go back, that maybe you don't feel the same. And it doesn't mean negative, it's just different. This is because your inner world, your inner existence, your perception has shifted. Once you shift so much, it's very difficult to match an old frequency. Some actually say it's impossible. But in a place like this, where you have such good nature around you, such untouched parts of the earth, right? Then what you have to do is enjoy it and connect with it in a different way. Because the theme of this video is what? Other parts of the world, like in the West, are much more changed, adjusted. Not to say here it's not been adjusted. I'm not making that point at all. I'm saying there in the US, they have made it to where you can't even breathe. People have to develop such a spiritual routine even to learn how to breathe, right? Luckily, the body itself learns how to breathe and has it memorized. Luckily, you're not the doer of that, because if you were, then in a overstimulation place like America, and even in Lebanon, even in the Middle East, there's a lot of overstimulation. There's more chaos here in certain ways. The point of this video is the nature, the essence of the earth, and why it's known as a holy land, why one place near here was stolen, and why this has been happening. There's such karma here, such aggression here, such wrongdoing here. It's because there is a holy essence available here, and it has a portal available. That's why Jesus lived here. It is because he actually was doing something in the environmental aspect of the earth within each being, where it's reflecting a conscious presence in many, and that's how his following was growing. And that's when the ones who took that land near here in Lebanon, I'm avoiding saying the name for a reason, they took him from this planet, and that's because of what he was creating. Just to give you a little bit more information about water and how it's so potent and important for your spirit, if you drink water, you can speak to it and it connects with your cells. It can rejuvenate your system, not just for your thirst, but your whole embodiment. The same is to be said for this ocean. If you connect with it deeply in a meditative state, you can use that to transmute a lot of energy in a short amount of time. This is why society has influenced the water that you drink, especially in such a negative way, with fluoride, because they want to dull your senses through something that actually holds the capacity to awaken your spirit and connect you with the energy of the universe. What you have to do is have discernment on how to utilize water and develop your abilities. If you would like to know how to focus more on your abilities and how to expand your spirit, you can contact me through the email in the description of this video for a one-on-one session, which includes an astrology reading, a palm reading, and intuitive channel guidance directly from source. In this, I'll also show you how to expand your DNA, multiply your cells beyond any limitation, and fully connect to higher knowledge that is alive within you.